And welcome back to Stanley Cup 89 here on TV 49. And a gentleman who made a lot of memories happen last night for the Buffalo Sabres and for the fans of the Buffalo Sabres, Jacques Cloutier, a goaltender who has been with the organization since 1979, has been a part of the goaltending experience with Bob Sauvé, Don Edwards, Tom Barrasso, Darren Pupa, now Clint Malarchuk. But last night in particular, Jacques Cloutier, the hard work has paid off over the course of the 9 years that you have put with this organization.
Yeah, I really worked hard the past 9 years, and it was an exciting moment for me last night.
5-2-0 in the last 7 games during the regular season. You were prepared for last night's game and tested very heavily by the Boston Bruins, one of which, the youngster John Carter, who comes in strong.
Yeah, we the last week of the season was really tough on our team because we want to win and finish third. And last night, I was preparing that play there. Carter had the open net, and I was able to get the pad on the puck, and it was a good save.
What about your feelings last night at the start of the game?
I was nervous a little bit because it was my first NHL start. I got 34 prior game in a minor, but it's a big difference. But after a couple of minutes, I was back to my old style.
It seemed like in the second period of play, while the shutout was building, that the team started rallying around one Jacques Cloutier, especially Mike Ramsey, who is the king of shot blockers.
Yeah, last night, I think everybody was blocking shot. Mike Foligno was blocking shot. Greg Lecter was blocking shot. And in the playoff, I think you see a lot of guys that normally they don't block shot, but in the playoff, everybody wants to be part of it.
The team has so much personality this year. It seems to carry over for what talent might not be there, and especially last night. And so totally described the second goal that was scored by Rick Vive. Everyone out hugging each other and really showing the emotion, something that has not been with the Buffalo Sabres in quite some time.
Yeah, our team is the last couple of years, Jeremy and I've been doing an excellent job to get some players, and having Rick Vive back in the lineup, this guy can score from everywhere, and last night was a really nice backhand he did against Reggie Lemon.
The year you won the Calder Cup with the Rochester Americans back in 1983, you had played 51 regular season games, then jumped in and played all those games in the playoffs. The knock against Jacques Cloutier is that he can't handle all those games. Well, I think you've experienced that right now, haven't you?
Everybody told me that I was not able to play every night, but this year I proved I could play many nights. Some night was difficult, but overall I was really pleased the way I played.
Jacques Cloutier, indeed, against all odds. An experience last night here in Boston, and I'm sure one that you will remember for a long time.
Yeah, it was special, especially get the shutout, but get the win, the first win in Boston last year. We were not able to beat them. The first win was really exciting.
While we're setting the stage here in Stanley Cup 89, we'd like to now throw it back up to the broadcast location with Mike Robitaille. Jacques, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you very much, John. And as far as the Sabres are concerned tonight, Clint Malarchuk will be starting in goal for the Buffalo Sabres. Jacques Cloutier has won 6 of his last 7 games, but he's played 5 games in the last 8 days.
Yeah, he has trouble, as they say, back-to-back games, and they're starting to build up. Now's the time to break Malarchuk in. Malarchuk didn't play the last game because Cloutier had the shutout when, of course, they wanted to get the shutout for Jacques, that being his first game in the playoffs. If the score would have been 6-2 or something like that, I'm sure Malarchuk might have got a little playing time last night. But he'll start tonight. Let's keep an eye on the Bruins, see if they try to take runs at him, knock him over, shake him up a little bit. I think the Buffalo Sabres will be very protective of their goaltender tonight. If they're not, they should be ashamed of themselves.
Well, John Tucker is unable to play tonight. He's had back problems all season, and after every game he has ice packs on his back, and it's unfortunate that he won't be able to play.
I really feel for John Tucker, especially a good playoff player. He really produced last year when it counted, and I can't get that out of my head. He was one of the most dominant players for Buffalo in the playoffs. They've lost him, played a strong game last night. And the guy today, I mean, he's got ice packs on his back. He can hardly move around. And it's really a tough break for Buffalo. Who goes in tonight? Mark Napier will probably take a spot. See how good his groin is. They don't know. He had the warm-up. He seemed to be skating okay. If Napier can't go, I guess they'd put Shepard in.
Well, Andy Moog will be starting in goal for the Boston Bruins. And, well, I don't know, what type of a game do you expect tonight?
I would think looking at this game tonight, the Boston Bruins, you'll see them play about as desperate a type of hockey as they can possibly play. If they do not win tonight, this series is over in for the most 5 games. I mean, they don't have any choice, Ted. They have to produce tonight. They said, well, we're a little nervous last night being the first game. Well, how do you think they're going to feel tonight if they're nervous last night?
Okay, thank you, Mike. And now let's go to John Gertler.
Okay, gentlemen, thank you. Sabre Countdown will continue after these messages on the Sabre Station, TV 49.
Welcome back, everybody. Our guest in this first intermission from the Boston Garden is Buffalo Sabre forward Jeff Parker. Jeff, you came off an injury, a knee injury, a slight knee injury, about 4 or 5 games ago, and from what I can see, I noticed an awful big difference in your play. It's almost like your career has turned the corner and you're on your way up now.
Yeah, I feel good. I went through some really good rehabilitation on my knee. It was a slight sprain, and got back in the lineup and started playing, and Ted gave me a lot of ice time, and I feel really good.
It's an interesting situation from you. You're off a checking line now with McGuire and Hartman. They move you up at a couple of goal scorers, Tucker and Andrechuk. Do you see those 2 players maybe drawing more of your offensive talents out of you?
I think so. Not putting anything against Kevin or Mike, because I love playing with them. Yeah. We were a good, strong line, and we did our job well. And maybe this is a little bit of more of an opportunity for me to score and put some points on the board. So I look at it as a good opportunity.
Dominated the game last night. I mean, Boston weren't even, well, other in the very early in the first period, but why? Why did you play so well last night?
I don't know if we got a little bit lucky. We had a couple 5-minute power plays, which helped, and we were on our game, and everybody was playing well, and our defensively we were sound, and Jocko, we had good goaltending, so all elements of the game were real strong for us. So we took it in stride. It was a good win for us, and tonight's could be another battle.
Well, I was going to say, you better have your feet in the ground, because Boston will be coming out tonight, and you can count on them giving you both barrels, because if they lose this game tonight, it might be all over.
Yeah, well, it will definitely give us some momentum to come home, and we're looking forward to it.
What about the tension and the anxiety for a young player like yourself? This is your first playoff series in the National Hockey League.
I felt the butterflies before the game last night, and had a hard time sleeping when we got home. I don't know if I was a little excited after the win still, but it feels good. It's the same as playing in college or even in the minors. Mm-hmm. when you got to get up for a big game, but there's something a little bit more in the NHL here when you have the rival, and it's just been a great series. It's going to be a great series.
Jeff, former teammate of yours, Don Liebert, now you're one of your coaches in the National Hockey League. I paid you a great compliment. I was talking to him a couple of weeks ago, and I mentioned to him that I thought your career had turned the corner and you're really on your way up. And he said, well, not only that, he says, wait till you see him play in the playoffs and the big games. He seems to think, especially after playing with you in Rochester when you won the championship, that you will even play better in those real important playoff games. Do you relish those times?
Well, that certainly is a nice compliment.
Not bad from the coach, as a matter of fact.
Donnie. Usually he's been the guy that...
wait till it's the general manager.
wants me to straighten my stick out and turn my game around. But no, I like playing in situations where it's a tight situation, tense. I love being on the ice, and I love the competition. So
I don't know if it's coming through in the tight spots or not, but it seems to bring the best out in me in playing in those type of situations.
Well, Jeff, thank you very much. And that's a great time to play well. Certainly the good hockey players, they want the puck in those big moments, and it seems like that's a big part of your game. Good luck tonight.
Thank you.
Okay, forward Jeff Parker. We'll be back in a moment. You're watching Sabres Hockey on TV 49.
Foligno pulls out Bogue, dumps it in. The Sabres take a 1-0 lead.
Ooh, and you can hear the air seeping right out of Boston right now. Here goes Foligno, and is he flying about as hard as he can go? And that's pretty fast. Watch the move right here. Decides to go with the D. Could really beat the goaltender, but as clean as you can possibly beat a guy. And Moog was just completely on his backside. Mike Foligno, just an outstanding goal. Good anticipation. Good work by Buffalo at their own blue line to make this puck come free, and he's gone. All he has to do is pull away from that defense from Peterson, which is no contest. At this point, Foligno just dancing. Drills it into the open net, 1-0 Buffalo. See how Boston react to this.
Now taken by Parker, gives it to Andrew. Turgeon spotted Foligno in front of the Boston net and let the shot go, and the Sabres lead 2-0.
You know, how about this confrontation? Watching the replay, you'll see, I think it's Blake Wesley right here. Who's going to win this little battle? This is a one-on-one battle we're talking about. You win hockey games by winning these battles. Here's an example of it. Turgeon won, went to the front of the net, drifted into the far side. Did Foligno get his stick on that puck?
I don't know. I don't
know. It might have went clean right in. Watch right here. Now, here's the one-on-one situation with Wesley. Wesley was burnt all last night by Turgeon. Turgeon stripped him of the puck, I bet you 6 times. And once again, tonight he burns him right into the far corner. Just an outstanding goal by Turgeon. He continues to play red-hot hockey. And he's even old enough now to grow a beard.
And it's a 2-0 score. Buffalo leading. Ledger giving it to Anderson. Anderson sends it now to Foligno, but it's knocked away by Wesley. It's an offside call in the Boston zone. Goal in 2 games, and the Sabres have taken a 3-0 lead.
He's making a mockery of this game now. I mean, look at the guys on the bench. They can't believe it. They're watching. Can he be this good? Let's have a look at it. Strips the defenseman of the puck again. This is only for the 100th time so far in 2 games. Look at this. Stuffed it up high into the far corner. The goaltender came out, stayed with him all the way. He still drove it right by him. Quick little wrist shot. In it goes. 3-0 Buffalo. Watch Mike Foligno bang this puck off the board. Do you think this wasn't a good bounce right here? And look at Turgeon. Strips the puck off Hoggood. Pulls away. Another one-on-one confrontation. Not only in the Hoggood, but the goaltender. They win both of them. This place has gone dead silent, Mr. Darling.
Yes.
You can hear a pin drop in this place.
And there's 21 seconds left in the penalty to Galley. And then the Bruins will go to the power play for 3 minutes. And they can score as many goals in that 3-minute power play. Now it comes back to Telvin. Getting up to Bork.
Everybody after 2 periods of play. Buffalo holding on to a very slim 3-2 lead over the Boston Bruins. My guess is Craig Ramsey. Always nice having you join us, Craig. And what happens here in the 3rd period? I don't think it would be a good idea for someone to leave their TV set right now.
Well, not in Boston. Anything can happen in this building. But I think we sat back a little bit once we got up by 3. And certainly you can't afford to do that in the Boston Garden, because they come out, even, it doesn't matter what they showed us yesterday, they're going to come hard tonight. And they did that. And we got up 3, we decided, well, we'll be a little careful. Now we're ahead. Let's sit back and see what happens. You can't.
You know, that 4th goal, that might have been just the icing in the cake. It didn't happen. I noticed on that 2nd Boston goal, though, they gambled a little bit at the blue line, lost, and they turned it into a goal.
Well, we gambled on the power play, and our power play has not been effective tonight. You know, last night with 4 power play goals, we were making things happen. But tonight we haven't been shooting the puck. We haven't been getting it in and getting it back and then taking a shot from the point. In a small building like Boston, the players hate, the penalty killers hate when the puck is shot at the net, because every shot is a chance to score. So you've got to get the puck and you got to throw it at the net and try to take your chances in close.
You know, John Tucker once again out of the lineup with the bad back, and a quick hockey player, very effective in this type of building, especially in Buffalo.
In the small buildings, John's very effective because he is so quick. And where in the bigger buildings where you need speed, he has some trouble. But at quickness in the small building, he showed that in Foligno's first goal yesterday. The puck came in and spinning off the boards. He got it. He hit it over on Foligno's stick just like that. And you've got to be very worried when Johnny pulls himself out of a game.
You have to love the confrontations going on out there, especially the situation with the big bull moose Cam Neely going down the left side against the left defenseman for Buffalo. I mean, that's a head-on collision, especially when Ramsey's on the ice.
Well, Mike's played him pretty good. He can't really face him head up. I mean, Mike's got to play smart against him. He's got to try to take him low. I noticed one time he went right down low, took the feet out from under him, and they both went down to the ice, but he took him out of the play. And he's a big guy when he comes down there. We like our wingers to get a piece of him, slow him up if he can, because if he comes in uncontested on a defenseman, there's a problem.
Always good talking to you, Craig. Good luck in the playoffs. An interesting series.
It's been fun. Thank you very much, Michael.
Craig Ramsey, the Buffalo Sabres. This is Sabres hockey on TV 49.
Game 2 revolved around the Buffalo goal crease. First, the decision to play Clint Malarchuk shocked a lot of people, considering Jacques Cloutier blanked the Bruins in Game 1. The Bruins then put a new game plan into effect. Run the goalie and run him often.
They were coming at you all night, Clint.
Yeah, they played the typical Bruin game, you know, very aggressive, very set the puck to the point and go to the net.
Does that take you off your game?
No, I don't think it takes off your game. It makes it kind of hard when you're playing in the back of the net, though.
I think our team played pretty hard tonight. There's some obvious things that we're very distraught about. The obvious thing is people going into the goal crease and making deliberate contact with the goalie, and that's something that we're going to have to address.
The Sabres did little to stop Boston's forwards from banging into Malarchuk. Saturday, the Bruins goalies had better keep their heads up. That should have been the case last night. The Sabres built a 3-0 lead on a Mike Foligno breakaway and 2 nifty Pierre Turgeon goals. But after the Bruins pulled within 1, Buffalo committed a cardinal error.
The old hockey cliche is never give a goal up in the final minute of a period. And a goal that really killed the Sabres was not only a goal in the final minute of the second period, but a short-handed goal that really put salt in the wound.
Definitely got us going. It was a big goal. The last minute of any period is a big goal. Short-handed, we came out big. Sort of turning things around. I made it 3-2. They were winning 3-0, and got us rolling, got us momentum back, and we rolled from there.
I think the backbreaker, 3-1, we give up a shorthanded goal with 30 seconds left. I think maybe if we don't give that up, you go in 3-1, and you get a little momentum.
The Bruins wheeled the momentum into 2 quick goals in the third period and never looked back. 5-3 the final score. The stage is set for another tooth-and-nail series as the two teams move to the Odd this weekend, tied at a win each. From Boston Garden, Brian Blessing, News 4 Sports.
And Christian Ruutu is out indefinitely after breaking a small bone in his left shoulder in the third period of that game last night. He also separated his shoulder on this play. So it looks like Ruutu